For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod driveline components under the leadership of top fuel funny car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody, WFO. Welcome to another week of WFO Radio Podcast. If you're a new listener, a first-time listener, or viewer, welcome to the show. We talk a whole lot of NHRA, Camping World Drag Racing, Lucas Oil Series Drag Racing, Formula One, IndyCar Drag Racing on our Ignition show, which has not happened yet this week due to the Memorial Day holiday this past weekend. Hopefully you all had a great time with your families, doing whatever it is that you do. I saw Top Gun, baby. I'm super excited to talk about Top Gun, and that's something we'll do on the Ignition show coming up. We've got Alan Reinhart scheduled to join. It's a little bit dicey right now, though, because we have yet to connect with Reinhardt. And I was like, hey, man, I'm starting. I have confidence that you'll be able to make it wherever he is, somewhere out there, going from place to place, city to city, as he's on a 7-week Northeastern tour out there, doing divisional races and Division One. And we're going to catch up with AR at some point, or it's just going to be us, me and you and the viewers and listeners out there, which is fine by me also. We've done it before. We'll do it again. But I have no doubt that Reinhardt will be joining us. Big weekend, all kinds of great stuff going on out there. And I know everybody was kind of focused on the Indy 500, which was the greatest spectacle in racing. It was a big deal. Grand Prix of Monaco, which if you're a Ferrari fan, you want to forget. You want to forget. It was a horrific nightmare, which had me thinking about something I will be bringing up a little bit later on in the show. So please stick around for comments after that. Coca-Cola 600 NASCAR on full display. Kind of a lot of crashes, but people like that. Some people do. Denny Hamlin wins that race. And we get going again with the New England Nationals out there in Epping, New Hampshire this weekend. So stick around on the show. Share the show if you'd like. But now, you know it. I got to tell you about the people who make it possible, like Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. You've heard me say it many times. And we've set the date for our Trackside Tech Talks. Going to be in Seattle, home of Rottler. Going to be big. Going to be in Indy. Going to be huge. If you're a Lucas Oil Series racer, you're going to be out there in Indy. You want to make plans for this Tech Talk, guys. It's no joke. Real, legit information is being shared that will make you and your car quicker and faster, especially than your competition who's not using this stuff. TotalSeal.com. Go to the website, look around, check it out, and subscribe to that Hidden Horsepower podcast. We have got an episode getting ready to drop, full episode. Mark Malberg from Digital Metrology. Scientist, cutting-edge thinker. You're going to love it. TotalSeal.com. Also, you heard a little bit about him. FTIPerformanceTransmissions.com. It's Paul Lee Company, located in DeLand, Florida. They got started over 10 years ago and have immediately, in 10 years, if you accomplish like conquest of an industry, you've done pretty well. And that's what they have. Winning the U.S. Nationals in multiple categories, winning big money bracket races, the million, partnering with the right people to showcase their technology. Torque converters, automatic transmissions. You got to think about Paul. He's got McLeod drivelines. And so he's got the clutch guys covered. And he's got the automatic guys covered with FTIPerformance.com. Converters, transmissions, fast cars too, like Pro Mod, Top Dragster, Top Sportsman. If you're not using FTI, you really should check them out. VP Racing Fuels had Freddie on. Freddie was on last week. Freddie Terza. This guy has built engines for Richard Childress Racing. He's been involved with Bill Grumpy Jenkins. He's now over there working for VP, and they're really pushing forward VP Lubricants and doing a great job. Camry Caruso getting that number one qualifying position not long ago. VPRacingFuels.com. Hit the website. Check them out. Share the shows, especially the one with Freddie. And then last week we had Jim Epler as well from PhillipsConnect.com. Phillips-Connect is the website. Go to the website. Check out some of the sensors that they've got for over-the-road transportation, and you'll see that he's taking the drag racing mentality and he's bringing it to over-the-road safety. You know, we always say win on Sunday, sell on Monday, but we don't say sell what, right? Yes, it's assumed to be cars. And yes, that makes perfect sense, but not necessarily has to be cars. can be safety devices for your trucks and trailers, since so many of us use trucks and trailers and many people in the transportation biz as well. Phillips-Connect.com. A little later on in the show, I'll tell you about the folks samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology, Frank Hawley's drag racing school, and their Dragster Adventure program that can even send you out there to race, and Marvin Rodax, coffeeandgrills.com, which I am, yes, starting the day with a double dose of Rodax coffee. RODAKS 817-924-6821. Call Marvin. And maybe a little bit later on, I'll tell you how to join the Patreons. Okay, I see AR getting ready. He's getting his game face on. And while he does that, I'm just going to shout out to everybody out there. What's up, guys? WFO Eric, WFO Lonnie, AZ checking in. What's up, Jim? Hello, welcome back after the holiday. Got to enjoy AR the past 2 weekends at Cecil County and Maple Grove. Way to go, James. So, Top Gun, tell us how you really feel, Joe. A++. 2 thumbs up. Couldn't have been better. Great stuff. They did it. They nailed it. Remember, this movie's been sitting in the can for 2 years, waiting. Tom Cruise telling them, no, you cannot release it direct to streaming. You must go to the theater so America can have that streaming experience. It's the movie that saved America, folks. WFO, let the pro stock loose. Absolutely. Jeff, hey, friends. Supercomp Nova's on board. Everybody is working hard. Hi, Alan. He's not here yet. He's almost ready. Hey, Joe. Wait, I think that's a song. Joe and Alan. All right. Everyone's referencing Alan, so let's bring him on. Mr. Alan Reinhardt. Where are you, sir? You're in a bar.
You don't have to know everything.
Yeah, I know where you are. You're in you're in the bar where Ron Capps is going to do the win thing. What's his name? Bentley, right?
What makes you think I'm in a bar?
You know what, Alan? I don't know what the FCC is going to have to say about this. We're going to be in big trouble, except we're not. Drink away, my friend. You've earned it.
No, I just came up here to have lunch and just got into town. I mean, I landed in Boston about an hour and a half ago and just drove straight up here. So
awesome. The drive from Boston up there to... I was thinking about this. Like, this has become one of my favorite races, Alan. There's lots of great food and lots of great people. And what more do you want when you go into a drag race, plus an old school, perfect track where there is nothing but drag racing? Like, that's it. That's what you're going for. And everybody loves it that way.
yeah, it's a great venue. I mean, obviously they've been racing up here for whatever, 50 or 60 or 100 years. And, it's nice going to, the big, snazzy, shiny, fancy places like Charlotte and Bristol, but it's also nice kind of going to the old school places that have been racing for so long. And there's a real hardcore base up here. One thing that I've learned over the past couple of weeks, being in Cecil a couple of weeks ago, and then of course being in Maple Grove last week, now that the border's open again, our Canadian fans, friends, and racers have been really supporting us down here. And I think we're going to see about 1 billion of those here this weekend as well.
I hope so. We love our friends north of the border, the Canadians, super nice people. They're just like Americans, but nicer. And we love them and want to see them back. And this is the first opportunity to get them back. Now, what I will say, Alan, just to head off any complaints from the WFO universe out there, the bar sounds are loving and welcomed. Like, I love it, but you gotta be a little more forceful with your tone.
Okay, I'll try to do that.
That's it, as best as you can. So thoughts from the divisional racing out there. I saw Sean Bellemere was able to get the win. That was a big deal. No? Did I read that wrong?
DJ Cox in the final, baby.
Matt Cummings and Jared Dreher in the Alcohol Dragster final. Did it not happen? What? Did I miss something?
DJ Cox. TJ beat Sean in the final.
All right, I'm going to see if I misread. Oh, yeah, I did misread. Way to go, DJ Cox. That's another win for DJ, huh? That's a couple.
Yeah, he was the number one qualifier and won the race just like he did the week before. And he also, on Thursday night we did the division championship. I don't know if banquet is the right word, but the division get together. And so he's now a 3-time regional champion, and he's got 2 wins in the bank already this year going for his next one. But he's got himself a good car out there right now. And the bees will tell you, and I mean, I don't think it's any secret, they're struggling a little bit in the bell housing right now. They're making some good runs, but not as consistent as they have the last couple of years. And DJ's car was solid.
Excellent. Well, they're having a good year, and they've been on I don't want to call it a slow burn, but they're doing it the way you got to do it if you're going to win a championship, right? They're building to it, and this looks like a year where they're putting it all together.
Well, and they're also a team that, where everybody works. Everybody's got to spend time at their jobs doing their stuff, and they work on the car when they can, and then they get out when they can. They don't have the budget or the time away that they can go run 18 races. So they've kind of got to pick and choose where they want to go. It's important to them to defend their regional championship, and they're off to a good start on that right now. We'll just see what happens when we get, on a little bit bigger scale, when we get to some of the national events, and if they can keep up the winning ways. They've got a really good race car right now, and DJ's doing a good job driving it.
Excellent. Very excited, and you're still on the tour, of course, going to the New England Nationals here this weekend. So I look back at last year's winners: Billy Torrence, John Force, Aaron Stanfield. And so Billy is on the part-time schedule, as he typical is. Force is John Force, of course, and Aaron Stanfield, who started off the year on fire and then kind of has slid back a little bit. First time having Pro Stock back. Let's talk Pro Stock first. We've got 17 Pro Stockers on the entry, as last I saw. So it will be a full field, and there will be a fight for qualifying. That old adage that you use, the one guy that's got to go home.
Don't want to be the one.
Don't want to be the one.
Give me 20 cars, and if I'm 17, I'm okay with that. But you don't want to be the one, and that that's just extra incentive. I think Brian Loans did a Nitro Time Machine on Chris McGahee's win here a couple of years ago that was just kind of wacky, and we've seen some surprise winners here. I'm just looking forward to seeing Pro Stock back on the track. I mean, it seems like forever since I've had a chance to go by and say hey to Eric or say hey to Greg here at the racetrack, and we're going to find out who did the best homework for the they've had some time off now, so you guarantee everybody's been up there burning the midnight dyno fuel and trying to get squared away.
The development race is something that, in Formula One, everybody's talking about updates on the car, and something will come out and they'll notice it'll be different. Drag racing, there's a development race as well, especially if you're running for a world championship. You might not see it though, but it's there.
Well, drag racing, you're looking for, in Pro Stock in particular, you're looking for 2 horsepower or 3 horsepower. Or is there a way we can make the car more efficient? And, nothing is off the table right now when you're trying to figure out how can we squeeze a little bit more out and how can we more efficiently use the stuff that we have. One of the big things the last couple of years that's really come into play now is the Rev Limiter. It used to be top speed was the telling tale about who was really doing the work in the dyno room. If you had the top speed of the meet, you had the most power. That was simple. But what they have found is that the cars will actually run quicker if they hit the rev limiter just before the finish line. So if a car goes out there and runs 210 miles an hour, but I run 208.5 and I've got a better lap time, I'm still making better power. It's just that the rev limiter is keeping me from getting top speed. So that's a little bit of a misnomer that's been thrown into Pro Stock. And now the amount of people that are experimenting with when exactly is the right time to get the rev limiter, what can we do with gear ratios, what can we do with tire size? There's a lot going on out there that's not going on in the dyno room.
Well, exactly. And this is something that came up earlier on this year. Is it just, hit it as quickly as possible in that hidden horsepower with Greg Anderson, which hopefully everybody went back and listened. It's a dynamic that, and the way I put it together was that they're working backwards, right, from the finish line, and they realized okay, we gotta hit 10.5 at some point. How do we get there as quickly as possible? And that's what's making low ET. But that speed record is probably going to be the speed record forever.
Yeah, it doesn't mean much right now, but you also got to keep in mind, the different tire sizes. You don't want to be on a rev limiter at 800 feet. You got to get to where you're accelerating solidly all the way down the racetrack, but you do need to definitely hit it a little bit before the finish line. So there's still some experimenting going on there, and there's a lot that hasn't been learned yet.
Exactly. Look at Alexander. He attended his first NHRA event on April 30th at ZMAX. It was awesome, and now he is a WFO Universe member out there checking out the show. Yeah, it's not the same show, though, without Pro Stock. And you mentioned it. I know that there are fans of Nitro that they just don't have that passion for Pro Stock. But there are a lot of Pro Stock fans that they only have the passion for Pro Stock, and it's just a different show. It'll be great to get them all back out there and resume this year of Erica that we have been having. Let's draw up the picture. It has been a Erica Enders dominant season. She is still, we had her on last week. I mentioned the whole Camry Caruso, final, and she was bristled a little bit like, oh, that's coming up again. It's like, hey, this is the story. This is what's happening right now. This is the story. It's just a statement of fact. You won. But to set the table back up, Erica Enders has dominated the year so far, and someone's going to have to get up there and mix it up with it.
Well, Elite has dominated the year, and Erica has been, obviously on the leading edge of that. And all that does is make the KB guys work harder. All that does is make, the McGahey team work harder, and everybody else is out there trying to catch them. And it's been like that for the last few years. The pendulum swings back and forth. Whoever's on top annoys the rest of the teams, and then they've got to go out there and go back to work. And whoever's chasing knows that if they get there or when they get there, that they just all they've done is shifted the target, put it on their back, and then everybody comes back after them. But I guarantee, as much as Greg would like to race every day, every week, every year, he was looking forward to having some time to go back to the shop and try to close the gap a little bit, and we're going to find out if he did.
Exactly. Now, you were up there, Kid Chaos is the first non-elite car in the points, sitting third, 126 back. It's Erica, Aaron Stanfield, 82 back, Kid Chaos, Dallas Glenn, as you would imagine, Greg. So you got 2 elites, you got 3 KB, then Mason McGahey and Camry, Bo, Troy Coughlin, Roger Brogdon. On the outside of the top 10, Christian Quadra, Derek Kramer, Matt Hartford, Quadra Jr., and Dad McGahey. So, you got 16 pro stock cars chasing the points on a regular basis. That's healthy. That's awesome. But it's time to start going, though. If you're one of those people that's on the outside, you want to get it going. I was thinking about Hartford in particular. They kind of shook off their demons, but then lost a couple of tough races. This would be a good race to get that over with.
Well, there's no such thing as a bad race to turn things around when you're struggling a little bit. And yes, they've had a good car. A couple of times they've, got bit early in the weekend and kind of got behind the 8 ball a little bit. Sometimes self-inflicted wounds, sometimes not so much. But yeah, this would be a good time to get it going, and maybe having a couple of weeks off would be what they needed to break the schneid, so to speak. I think, and I will not be the least bit surprised if there's a quadra or 2 in the semifinals or even later. I think they've been really showing some signs of life over there. Not just the fact that their performance is picking up, but also the drivers have been doing what they need to do. I think Erica's still the person to beat, or the elite team is still the person to beat until somebody proves otherwise. I do think it was kind of funny that one of the things that came up this weekend, Greg has been after Kyle Koretsky to lose 10 pounds. And, they just want to be able to move the balance of the car around a little bit. Well, if you had seen Kyle Koretsky the last couple of weeks up there at Maple Grove, I believe he's lost 10 pounds. So that should make Greg happy, and if that'll make a difference, we'll see. But Kyle was out there busting his hump, literally every day at the racetrack. And even Kenny was up there. And Kenny, considering the fact that he is the guy who spends the money, he's also a guy that will run the weed eater. He's a guy that'll get in and start cleaning up when things need to be cleaned up. He's a guy that'll grab a paintbrush when that needs to be done. He ain't afraid to roll the sleeves up and get to work. But they've definitely made a big commitment up at Maple Grove, and having, the NPK tour there a couple of weeks ago, and then having us there on the divisional trail last weekend. They've been working at it.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm excited about that. We obviously want to give Captain a little more time to get things as he would like them to be up there. But I think it is great. I'm throwing the link to the mobile app up in the chat section now, and I just want everybody to know they can download and watch the show on the WFO mobile app, which I think is pretty cool. Let's move into Top Fuel. I see 14 cars on the entry list, so that's going to be interesting. It's hard to get up there. Let's face it. To go through the megalopolis that is the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, that whole area is a really challenge. I'm thrilled. We got 14 cars up there in that part of the country with as much of a struggle as it is to get there. But that's going to change the dynamic of the race. There'll be a buy run somewhere.
Yeah, and that'll just make it even more impactful if you are the number one qualifier, because that'll put you in position. That'll put you on the side of the ladder for the potential 2-for-1 come Sunday morning. But the 14 cars that are coming are all very capable cars. And I would rather have 14 capable cars than have 20 if, 3 or 4 of them are liable to have a wheel fall off, if you know what I'm saying. And I mean, no disrespect to anybody that tries to do this, but I would rather have 14 good, solid, competitive cars. And remember what we've seen up here with some of the short fields. Things like Terry Haddock. get into the semifinals a couple of years ago. And so that also opens the door for somebody to potentially have a big day, get a little TV time, and maybe do his program some good.
Yes, and as we talked about a season of dominance with Erica, we're kind of experiencing a similar situation with Brittany. 81 points up on Steve, 3 race wins already here in the season, but the defending race winner, Billy Torrence and Mike Salinas, was the runner-up. So it's kind of curious as to which Brittany, who she told us flat out, like, I don't want to take a break. I want to keep racing. Like, everything's clicking. We're loving what we're doing. We want to race every day, every weekend right now because we're making some hay. The sun is shining and we're making some hay. I'm interested to see if that continues up here as it, I don't know what the weather conditions are going to be, but I would imagine it's going to be getting a little hotter.
Actually, I looked. I know I never do that, but I looked today while I was sitting on the airplane. And there's a chance of some sprinkles on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday, the high is supposed to be about 75. So it looks like it's going to be really good racing weather. And I agree with what Brittany said. When you're on a roll, the last thing you want to do is take a break. And, right now they're running good. They're on a roll. They don't want to take a break. So, she's still, I think, the team to beat. Steve Torrence showed some signs of life last week. I think they're definitely coming back. I think I am not the only one that keeps waiting for the Coletta cars to just absolutely break out of their funk and do something. And there's a lot of other players out there as well. You look at what Justin did beginning of the year. You look at what some of the other teams have done and what they're capable of. I wouldn't be overly surprised. This place has always been good for Clay Milliken. And, he's having an okay season, but this is just a comfortable place for him. Now, will that mean that he'll have extra good luck here? I don't know, but I never met anybody that said, gee, I hate going back to a racetrack where I had a lot of good fortune over the years. So maybe, maybe a little familiarity will be good for him as well.
All those years on the IHRA side makes perfect sense. Dan Mercier going to be out with the first time with Terry's equipment and all of that. It should be very interesting to let Reinhardt choke. And now he's back. Right, enjoying. I want to give you a break. Run the camera.
Hey, I'm on vacation. I'm at Bentley's. I'm having a beer and a lobster roll for lunch.
The lobster fest begins. Yeah, get ready for lobster. How far is Bentley's from the track?
30 minutes, maybe
30 minutes.
35. Yeah.
Is it in Maine?
Well, maybe 40, because I didn't go by the track, but I just came straight up 95, and you come over the bridge into Maine, and you know where that is from the hotel where we stay. When you come over the bridge into Maine, you're less than 20 minutes away.
Excellent. I might have to go see it because it's cool. Eric wants to know if you found the trains. Are you going to look for the trains again?
Well, that remains to be seen. The plan was yes, and I'm hoping to. At the rental cars, is anybody from National Rental Car paying attention here? They didn't have a 4-wheel drive truck for me this year, which they did last year, which certainly played heavily into the decision of let's go hunting. So I don't have the best train hunting vehicle, but I have put out some feelers and I'm talking to some people and I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that I can make that happen. If there's a guide that would take me, that's great. I actually have a call into a helicopter place. I don't know if I can charter a helicopter to take me up there. I talked to a guy with a float plane who said, well, we can fly over him. And I said, can you land? He said, well, no, because he said the lake is really, a national forest or something. And I said, well, that doesn't do any good. I don't want to fly home. I want to touch them. So, but
right.
We'll see. I don't know. The plan was always to take another swing at it this year. But last year when I walked out of the rental car center at Boston Logan Airport, they had a brand new Toyota Tacoma 4-wheel drive, had 310 miles on it, just waiting to go train hunting. And that didn't work out, but I didn't have another 4-wheel drive to jump in this time, so we'll see.
Yeah, and the flat tire happened anyway. So here's what we need, WFO Universe.
There was no flat tire. I didn't turn in a car with a flat tire last year. No,
they're not listening. Remember, you were using Hertz back then, right? Anyway, attention, WFO Universe. This man brings us great insight every week. Isn't there someone up there in the Northeast, New England area that can just take him to the trains? You know how to get there. You've got a vehicle. Just take this guy. He's a good storyteller. You can hang out with him for 5 hours or something. Think of all the drag racing knowledge you'll gain. Reach out, NHRA Reinhardt on Twitter, or contact me, Joe at WFORadio.com. We'll put you together, and we'll get to Reinhardt to see these trains, man, so we can all live the experience afterwards.
Announcer at NHRA.com will work too. And
Announcer
if you don't
at
know,
NHRA.com.
if you don't know what we're talking about, just Google Ghost Trains Maine and it'll come up. But I'm bound to determine I'm going to find it. Darn things.
Oh yeah, now it's not even about seeing the stupid trains. Now it's about making it. This is a quest.
Yes.
This is your white whale. You're Ahab chasing the white whale. You are. To the last I grapple with thee.
No.
Maybe a bad
I'm not taking it that far. I did go to a big train museum down in Pennsylvania last week, though. That was really, really cool. And just outside of Lancaster, under the Pennsylvania Train Museum or something. But it was really cool, and that was a good place to spend a day. I just want to find them in their natural environment, and they're sitting up there waiting for me. I just got to figure out how to get there.
Exactly. I have been to that train museum. I assume it is the same one that I went to the first year I went to Reading. And yes, amazing seeing all the trains in their period perfect state, coming up through, steam and electric and all that stuff. The modern stuff from like the early 40s, that sleek look, just really amazing stuff. Lots to do up there. All right, Brittany Forsley.
I'm sorry. My favorite one was actually this one that was built in 1935, retired in 1992. And I'm going, wow. And this was it was a locomotive that they used in a train yard, basically for moving cars around and hooking up and doing. So, it wasn't one that like ran back and forth to San Francisco, but still, to have almost 60 years in service before it was retired, I just think that's awesome.
Absolutely. No, I agree. There's so many things, and this is what going to NHRA races are all about, guys. Like, you pick a race, and then you do some stuff around the race as well. Alexander wants to know from you, remember, this is our new listener, okay? He came to his first drag race at ZMAX. What's your advice for people that want to get into racing? I'm assuming he means as a driver, but maybe not. Maybe someone he wants to work behind the scenes. What do you think?
Well, if you want to get in as a driver, my advice is to go to your local racetrack on Wednesday night or on Friday night or on whatever night and make a couple of laps. Start familiarizing yourself with the practices, the procedures, and then start meeting people, start making contacts, and start getting your name out there. There are a number of drivers that came up through the Junior Drag Racing League, and I'm assuming that you're a little bit late for that. But there are also drivers that have come up through the Sportsman, and drag racing is expensive. Okay, like there's no way around that, especially when you get to the professional level. But there are a number of people that have worked at it, starting with maybe a super gas car, maybe with a stock eliminator car, and then meet people and make contacts and find people that are willing to invest in you that can move you up to the next level, maybe move you up to comp, or maybe move you up, to alcohol if nitro is where you want to go, and just keep building and keep meeting and keep doing stuff. If you're looking for something behind the scenes, if you're looking for like a crew position, you want to drive one of the trucks, you want to do that kind of stuff, go to NHRAlaunch.com. There are at least 3 teams out there right now that are looking for full-time on-the-road crew people. And if you've got some experience, great. If you've got a CDL, extra great, because you're going to have that. But if that's something that you want to do, but make sure that it's something you want to do, because Joe, even the dream of, hey, let's go do this, and the reality of the dedication it takes, the time it takes, are 2 way different things. And people that look at it from the outside and go, oh, that's so glamorous, that's so wonderful, that's so, you just get to go to the races and have fun every week, versus what it's really like when you're going out there, you're working and you're doing it. And it's not for everybody. But that's, if you're willing to make the commitment and you're willing to, then there's definitely opportunities out there right now. Yeah,
he's right, guys, that I wouldn't discourage anyone from doing it, but just make sure you've thought of the downside, because for a crew guy out there in the world today, it is pure drag racing life. It's not like you punch a clock and you're off hours and now you're doing your own stuff. No, you have to live the experience. And from what I hear, the guys that flame out right away are like, whoa, I didn't even understand it was going to be like this. Oh, I like the track and some things associated, but I have to be on this pretty much 24 hours a day. And the answer is, yeah, kind of. You're on a race team going from Bristol to Norwalk, and you're on 24 hours. You're living with these guys on the road. You don't like one of them. They don't like you. You got to figure it out. You got to and that's why the best teams have the best chemistry and they gel and they like each other and they're all for one and one for all. It's really a team building exercise. Don't get involved if you just want to tell your friends you're involved. You have to want to do it.
Well, even the stuff like we do, though. I know that, you and your dad came to Gainesville for a lot of years. You and I talked for a lot of years before you came out. And then you're doing 1 or 2 races. Okay, that's kind of cool. And then you start doing 15. And all of a sudden, hey, I don't get to be home for this. Or, hey, I'm going to have to miss out on that. Or, hey, I'm going to have to reschedule something. Obviously you have a level of dedication that is higher than the average person does, and so you've been able to make it work out, and obviously, climb to a very high position on the totem pole. But it's a difficult decision, and there's a lot of sacrifice that goes with it, and that's what a lot of people don't. I've told you the story a number of times about my friend that, you're the luckiest guy. You're the luckiest guy. Yeah. Took a week's vacation and came out to 2 races with me back to back, and by Saturday of the second race, he couldn't wait to go home. He's like, I can't believe the hours you put in. I can't believe the effort you put in. I can't believe, you got, and I said, that's because it's a job. It's way different when it's your job than when you're just showing up to watch Top Fuel run and then you go home after Top Fuel runs. It's way different when it's your job.
Way different. Now, it doesn't mean it's bad, but it's
just
way,
different.
You cannot just leave your job when you're done feeling like you want to do your job. You have to stay. And there's good times and bad times. Those crew guys after final qualifying, you're like, yeah, that was great. Guess what they're doing? They're getting ready for the most important round of the weekend, round 1 eliminations.
I always love the fact that on Sunday night, there's people hanging out in the winner's circle that say, oh man, you guys have the greatest job. You have the greatest job. You have the greatest job. I've never seen somebody Sunday night when it's pouring down rain and they're taking the awning down, trying to get all their junk put away, going, you have the greatest job. Nobody's out there then handing out resumes, I promise you, but that's all part of it.
That is part of it. Oh yeah. Matt and Angie, after, winning races, they're tearing down the awning, they're carrying stuff. There's no people to do that. It's, Monica says, you guys work hard. We appreciate it. And it's not so much about us because me and Alan, we have a very nice situation. No heavy lifting, right? That's really the end of it. Genuine lifting heavy stuff. I don't have to do that. I don't know if you, Alan, but I don't have to lift anything heavy, so I'm happy.
Well, that's true, but let's talk about on a Friday afternoon, what time do the Nitro crew guys have to be at work, and what time are you and I at work?
We're at 7 a.m.
You are. I'm there. Yeah, but
4 a.m. That's 4 a.m. He gets there. Look at his Twitter feed. He's there. Hey, this is what it's like to be at the track at 4 a.m. Thanks, Alan. And I appreciate it.
It's just a different commitment when you're working. Yeah. And when you're working and want to do a good job. I mean, I know, and I hope I'm not telling tales out of school, but the number of times we sit and go, okay, look, there's going to be 3 of us here this weekend. There's going to be, you know what, Joe, if you want to sleep in, come in at 11, come in at 11. And he's like, are you kidding me? First round of stock. We're going to do an attention in the pits. We're going to do a thing. I'll be there at 7 o'clock. I'll be there ready. And so you have to have that level of commitment. There's plenty of people that would love to do the job if they could show up 10 minutes before Nitro runs and leave 10 minutes after. And there are plenty of people that do that. Our fans that just come out to see the Nitro car. We love each and every one of you. But it's a different commitment when you're doing it for work. Whether you're a crew person, whether you're an official, whether you're one of us. And there's a lot more to it than what the average fan sees from the outside, is all I'm getting at.
He's absolutely correct. And, if you like drag racing, where do you want to be? At the track or at the hotel? And the answer is at the track. On that note, though, I do want to promote a new Attention in the Pits. You might have seen or heard about Spider-Man McBride, Alan's great friend and rival, went 268 miles per hour. Well, Larry gave us a walkthrough on the bike. We did an Attention in the Pits on Larry's bike that's up and available now. And it was so great, Alan, because oh yeah, that one, in Sweden, they made that wheel, and those guys, they've been helping me for 20 years, and they made this and they sent that, and every component, for the most part, you get to know its origin, who made it, what it does, how it was made, mostly within the, the 8-minute time constraint or whatever. But it's up and available on NHRA's Facebook page, and you should definitely check it out. All right, people out there still saying what's up. I want to give the point standings just so that everyone understands that Brittany's got an 81-point lead over Steve. Salinas is third, 84 back. So you got Brittany, then Steve and Mike are pretty much tied. Justin fourth, 137 back. Austin Prock And the Silver Stallions, right in the middle, 5th, 238. Clay, Josh Hart, Doug Coletta, Tony Schumacher, Langdon rounding out the top 10. Antron, Doug Foley, and Leah on the outside looking to get in. And so it's a very competitive year of Top Fuel racing.
Yeah, what do you think Leah's got to do to get the monkey off of her back? I mean, they're just it's unbelievable what that team has struggled with, and it's really just a matter of having it all come together. You know, she the first couple of races and made no bones about it. Her head wasn't where it needed to be. She got squared away and got straightened up. And then the car will come out and it'll haul ass in qualifying and then have a glitch, or you end up like the 4 wide. And if I'm not mistaken, she would have advanced in 3 of the 4 quads. The only one she wouldn't was the one she was in. So, you know, you kind of in a snake bit team, but they, you know, they've got everything they need in place there, and there's nobody over there that's panicking. They just, it's going to come together. We just need to keep our heads down, keep working. Stunning, is it not? Stunning that Antron Brown is not in the top 10. You know, I think when Brian Karate left and their performance fell off a little bit, I think a lot of people expected that because, you know, the old 2 heads are better than 1, and they lost one of their best heads, so to speak. When he came back, I think a lot of people figured, well, they'll just flip the switch and take off again, but that was 2 years ago, and they still haven't quite hit that stride. But that's you know, that's a car that should bust out here sometime soon. They're just there's more good cars than there is spots right now, and so, you know, somebody's going to end up on the outside. It's just a matter of who's going to get hot and how long can you ride it. And right now, Brittany is hot and they're riding it.
They're riding it. So to answer your question on Leah, I think the answer is just keep showing up. It's one of those, like, this is where I reference baseball, like baseball, the sport of life. There you got 162 games, and you're going to be feeling great and doing terrible, and then you're going to be doing terrible, feeling terrible and doing great, and just like the math is what matters. You're on this long timeline. And I think Leah and that team have got the car to where they need to be. They just need to go keep getting into the batter's box, to use the baseball analogy, and taking some cuts and keep doing it the right way. And it's going to fall into place for them now that they've got things mostly sorted out. I guess we'll see. Maybe this weekend. Who knows? Wouldn't that be apropos, I guess. Let's talk funny car. John Force won this race a year ago over Robert Height. I got to see them in the hotel after the race was over, and it was funny because, like, Force was. It's weird that John, when he wins, feels badly for the people that didn't win. That's where Force is in his career. And if it's Robert or if it's even Caps, he's like, oh, you know, I don't feel like I deserve these wins because I'm so old. But John Force keeps winning races, and that's his deal. And this is a place where obviously he is beloved.
Well, he's beloved everywhere, and this has been a good racetrack for him. So coming back to a place where he had success obviously is always a good thing. But, you know, right now, Matt Hagan, solid. Robert Height, solid. Cruz Pedregon hasn't been in the winner's circle, but man, he's got a great car. Ron Capps has got a great car. I don't know. If I was the funny car odds maker, I'm not sure how I would put the whole thing together, just because there are so many really good cars, and you kind of look at, you know, well, okay, whose weekend is it going to be this weekend? Thank you.
Yeah, keep those coming. This guy's doctor says he has to have 2 of these an hour, or else. Remember that in Arthur? Well, we'll see. But yeah, Robert seemed pretty stoked about it also, you know, going back up there. And then we have a week off, and then it's Father's Day weekend at Bristol. This was the race where Caps had that weird fire, the safety issue that kind of burned him. And they made some changes to that car a year ago. Terry Haddock got to the semifinals, and that's Terry Haddock is back on the entry list, which I thought was good. And he took a couple races off, so it'll be interesting to see where that team is, having taken a break, as they hadn't done. He said, I want to do it different this year. We're going to take some breaks. We're going to come out ready to compete as opposed to trying to survive and get there. And so I'll have my eye on Terry Haddock.
I think that's a good choice. You know, somebody a long time ago told me that all the real racing is done at the shop. The only reason we go to the track is to see who's been doing the homework. And, you know, when Terry's been out here literally just kicking and screaming and fighting to survive, that doesn't give you a lot of time to prepare. And so if he decided that this year is the year that he's going to drop back a little bit on participation, but he's going to make sure that every time he shows up, he is fully prepared, he is ready to go, I think you're going to see that in his performance. And over the past 3 or 4 years, he has steadily picked up his performance, maybe over the last 6 or 7, and getting better, getting stronger. Still not, necessarily a threat to go out and win the championship, but I think that he has learned that the extra preparation makes him better when he's there. So if he sits out a race to get prepared for a race, then he's got a much better chance of making some noise and hurting some feelings, and look forward to seeing him back out there.
And that's going to make, I think, people even more willing to help him with concepts and stuff. It's like, all right, this guy's trying to do it the right way. Just like you were saying about, dedication. When people see that you're, okay, this guy's making changes to be better, whatever it is, running less to be better when he's there, they're more willing to offer up opportunities and assistance, etc. So Matt Hagan leads by 15 over Robert. They've been the 2 best over the year. Cap's been 3rd best. He's 3rd, 112 back. And then John Force, Bruce Pedregon, very close together, 4th and 5th on back. Bob Tasca at this race. Man, this is one that I'm sure Bob, this is definitely a home race for Bob.
Yes.
The whole New England region. He's the guy holding it down up there. The Tasca family has got great history. Made his first runs there in his Mustang, right? Like Vanilla Ice. This would be big for Bob Tasca to go out there, and this is a meaningful race to him.
Well, this is the place where, all the friends, all the family, all the business associates, all of everybody in the region that either does help Bob now or has helped him through his career is going to have an opportunity to come out here and see him. And this, that's extra pressure. That's also extra incentive. You want to come out, you want to show off when you're at your home track. You want to do well when you're in front of, your family and your friends and your sponsors. So they've got a great race car. They also have been just a little bit snake bit. They run on Monday and run very well, and then go to the next race on Sunday, and it's kind of like, And, you look at the last race, because the weather changed during the course of the weekend, the difference between Saturday and Sunday was night and day, right? I mean, Robert and John both didn't qualify worth a darn. Tasca didn't either. And then all of a sudden on Sunday, oh, look out, here come these guys because the weather had changed. So having what looks like it's going to be a pretty even, equal weather weekend. Hopefully that means everybody will get in their comfort zone on Friday and Saturday, and then hopefully that should make for a good race on Sunday.
Absolutely. And being that it is up there, the amount of categories that are running are a little bit limited compared to some. We've got, Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock, Super Stock, Stock, Super Comp, Super Gas, Super Street, Top Sportsman. But it's kind of a small venue. People ask me all the time, why don't we have unlimited cars? Why don't we have like the old days where there's, unlimited all run? And the answer is we've got so many big trailers, even in the Lucas Oil series, that we run out of space. And at Epping, you run out of space. It's simple as that.
Well, they just don't have a bigger footprint of some of the tracks. If you went to Las Vegas, you can put 800 cars in there and not have too many issues. At Indy, we have 600-700 cars in there and don't have too many issues. You simply can't do that here. Places like this, places like Bandimere, places like Seattle, even places like Wild Horse out in Arizona, you've only got so much room to park cars. And so that's why you have to make decisions about which classes are going to run, what are your quotas going to be, how many are going to bring in here. But it also makes it a much more intimate atmosphere. As well as I do, and this is another just like insider thing that the average fan doesn't know. You're in Vegas and you go, okay, hey, I want to go find XYZ stalker to do an attention in the pits. Well, you better have GPS tracking in 3 hours because he's out there somewhere.
Right.
And on Indy, you don't even know which side of the track he's on. You don't, and so when you come to a place like this, you have a much more intimate setting. And even though there aren't as many cars or aren't as many classes, for the fans, you don't have to walk 47 miles to go see everything. If you see a car that you like on the racetrack and you go, hey, I want to go find that guy, you don't have to schedule 3 hours of the day to go search him out because you're going to be able to find him. And that's another, there's pluses and minuses to everything. And I think that's a plus, the fact that it is such a much more intimate setting. The grandstands are so much closer to the track than they are at some of the others, so you get kind of up close and personal. I don't know there's any place that we're any more up close and personal. Can you think of one?
No. Well, maybe Maple Grove, right? The old school tracks.
But even Maple Grove, we're up an extra floor and a half. I mean, at this place, we're like standing on the headers almost.
Oh, us? You mean us? Yeah, no, yeah, we're hovering over the driver on the right side of the racetrack in the front. We're like in the cockpit with him. It's great, but also, like you give something to get something. Like we're going to have to hang out with Loans and Tony Pedregon the whole weekend.
There's a door.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, but you got to give something to get something. It's only drag racing. Somebody was asking me, should I go to Epping? I said 100% you should definitely go.
Absolutely.
It's great, but if you're expecting like a observation deck or a fan experience or hang in the suites, that's not what it is. It's walk the pits, make friends with the drivers and the teams, and
how about if you got your picnic blanket and you just want to go sit on a hill?
You got a good spot to do that. The hill is great.
Epping's perfect. You're down near the finish line where the stuff is coming at you. There's room down there that you can, kind of stretch out and spread out a little bit. It's just an older school racetrack that has got a great surface, puts on a great show, looks like the weather's going to be okay. So, it's different. If you want to have the Norwalk experience, you ain't going to get that.
Right.
But you're going to get a very intimate, up close and personal, for everybody to say, it was so much better back in the day. Well, come to Epping.
This is it. This is back in the day. All right, Alan, I know you're out there at Bentley's. You're having a good time. So we're going to let you go. Any final, I'm going to take exception to that New England Patriot mug you're drinking out of, but that's okay. Any final thoughts? Yes, you are in New England. It makes perfect sense. That's okay. And the Boston Celtics just beat the Miami Heat, so I'm going to just shut my mouth when I go up there and try to be incognito about my sports team since the Yankees are doing so well. Any final thoughts you want to put out there to the folks before we let you go?
Just come support us. If you're in the neighborhood, come support us. It's going to be great. You kind of mentioned it casually earlier. I want to let everybody know again. Anybody that's in this part of the world knows who Bentley Warren is and the legend of a race car driver that he is. His saloon, Bentley's, is going to host Ron Capps, who does his wing search, and that's going to be on Thursday afternoon. It's less than an hour from a racetrack, and if you want to come up, eat some wings, and check out Bentley's place, then I'm sure they'd love to see you. And if Bentley Warren is a legend, just
yes,
Google him,
yes.
or go see him on the Dale Earnhardt download, because he did that not all that long ago. But anyway, that's I came up here. I come up here every year. This is just kind of tradition. You got to swing by Bentley's and have a beer and have a lobster roll or have a burger or something. So that's what I'm doing. But give us good weather. We'll put on a great show. And next weekend I'm headed for Lebanon Valley. My epic road trip continues. That's it. Now I left home May 6th or 7th, something like that. I'm going home June 27th. So, if you really decide, hey, I really love it, I want to do this. Okay, is that the level of commitment you're willing to make? And it's if you want to do it at this level, sometimes it's part of it. You go on the road and you just keep going.
When you say that, I can't help growing up as a child of the 80s. This past weekend Top Gun came out, and I went and kind of reconnected with my 80s child. When you describe the Alan Reinhardt road trip, I can't help but hear the theme to the movie Vacation and see you in like the family truckster going from track to track on the map, right? Like the little dotted lines and like a little loop, and Reinhardt going off to find the trains and then back to Holiday Road in the background.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean, maybe. My family truckster last week was a Chrysler 300, so that's a far cry from the family truckster. And I've got a Dodge Charger this week, so that's going to be a pretty nice car to drive around until I turn it in Albany and then head down to Bristol a couple of weeks from now. But no, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying getting to get off the beaten path and see things like the train museum, and being on a road trip, especially traveling by yourself, which I've done a lot of. I love hey, that looks interesting, and I don't even have to take a vote. Just
right.
Let's stop for an hour and let's go check this out, and let's get back on the road and head to the next thing. But
the second largest ball of twine.
Yeah, there you Bentley's Thursday night, Ron Capps. If you miss it, you'll be sorry.
Yes. Okay. Good note. And hopefully everyone will show up and make it a zoo. That will be great. Drag racing zoo. All right, Alan. Great job. Thank you very much. Go enjoy the rest of your day. If you do go look for trains, please notify someone that you are going.
Oh, don't worry. You have to check in when you go into the main North Woods. So if I get lost, then they send out search parties because you're in the wilderness.
That's it. Good deal. All right, Alan. Be well. We'll see you in a few days.
Thanks, Joe. See you.
Here he goes. The voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhardt, joins us each week right here on WFO Radio. And Monica says, enjoy your lobster roll, Alan. Enjoy it. The guy ordered a lobster roll right before, and it's probably cold now. No, aren't they all cold? There it is. Oh, wait. There it is. There's the lobster roll. Looks good. Later, Alan. Enjoy it. There he goes, Monica. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully everyone's doing well. See, now I kind of miss the sound, the ambiance of Bentley's. It kind of feels a little sterile, a little quiet, a little cold. If only I had a little pick-me-up for we were at happy hour, and now just like that, we're back at work. Not good. All right, guys, I got something extra I want to talk to you about here today. Something that I'm thinking about, right? And I want to always make sure the WFO universe understands what we're trying to accomplish here. And this is just something I was thinking about, and I was thinking about it on Sunday morning. And I'm going to tell you about it, and I want you to weigh in. We'll also do our predictions for the race weekend in a second. But first, I want to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to do this, like our Patreons. They got Monday Motivation this morning, even though it's Tuesday. It's the first day of the week. And Monday Motivation, a lot of it was about Top Gun and how great Top Gun was, and how I think Top Gun is really, really kind of like bringing joy back to everyone. It's amazing. But we talked about the show. We talked about racing. We threw a lot of different points out there. These are people who pay a membership monthly to be a part of the WFO universe, to be next level VIP. And it's shocking to me, but they are. Patreon.com/WFO radio, or just go to our website, WFOradio.com. We told you about Marvin Rodak, and this guy roasts coffee fresh per your order. I had a conversation with a friend, and we're talking about grinding your own coffee and what a difference it makes. And that's the thing I don't think people understand. When you grind the coffee, or you buy coffee that is already ground, even if it's fresh, you're giving up some experience. You need to get a grinder, which they're very inexpensive. You can go on Amazon and get one for like $12 or something. Get a little grinder, and then call Marvin and order the coffee full bean, or even if you want to stick with your garbage that you're getting in the grocery store, full bean, and grind it yourself. It's an added 30 seconds that makes all the difference in the world. But these are the kind of things that Marvin has taught me over the years. Full bean, bang the blower, WFO radio blend, great way to start your Rodax experience. 817-924-6821. At Frank Hawley's, they have the Dragster Adventure, which is how you can drive a dragster the most affordable way. Show up with nothing. They provide everything, including the dragster and the safety equipment, and you get to make 3 runs, 1 half track, 2 full track passes. And then if you want to show up with a group and do a race, and they'll set up a race and they'll officiate a race for you, you can do all of those things. It's called the Dragster Adventure Challenge. Just go to their website, frankhawley.com, and find out more. I think it's a great team building exercise, like when Maverick got the pilots out there on the beach, right? They could become a team. Oh yeah, the Top Gun references are going to be coming at you for the next month or so. That's how great it was. frankhawley.com. samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Let's say you're trying to approach Mach 10, and you are trying to get to what's going to take some very, very nifty machinery to achieve Mach 10. Who do you think is programming those CNC machines to go Mach 10? Right? The answer is very smart and qualified people. And some of them may have graduated from samtech.edu. If you are like my, family member, practically, closest thing I have to like a genuine brother, Jimmy, right? My dad's business partner, who's like my second, just to explain it all, saw Top Gun. He's like a second dad to me. His son, who's 5 years younger than me. Now everybody knows Jim, right? Jim saw Top Gun, the original, and said, I want to do that. And he did. And he's a fighter pilot, F-16, whole bunch of stuff. Can't tell you anything more than that. But these movies work. They motivate. They get people who didn't understand what they were interested in, interested and focused to achieve a goal. That's why we need a drag racing movie, because people watch these things and are affected by it. Call it propaganda. I don't know what you want to call it, but it works and it's great. And the same is true for people who don't want to be pilots. Maybe they want to be machinists, engine builders, or the person that is behind the scenes, making it all happen. For every one of those planes that goes up, there are countless people on the ground. You want to be involved? Well, there's a lot of ways to get involved. Maybe you're a GI and you've got the GI Bill. Samtech accepts the GI Bill. Just think about that. Top Gun. Samtech.edu. Phillips Connect, of course. sensors, technology. That's the real closest way I can bring that reference there to Top Gun. But we had Jim Epler on the show, and if you haven't seen it, you should check out the episode. He was great. He and Erica on together for a few minutes. And of course, if you know the history there, pretty cool. Phillips-Connect, he's going to have that technology trailer out there at Epping this weekend. And his 300 mile per hour club to the 8th mile, I love it. Just saying. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. Got a new episode of Hidden Horsepower getting ready to drop where you will learn a lot. I like to think I'm pretty smart. I do. You know, in the world, there's a weird thing, like smart people like to pretend they're dumb, and dumb people like to pretend they're smart, and people like to make fun of smart people because they're smart, and, you know, all of those things. But I like to think I'm, pretty smart. Nope. No. The ocean is very deep. There's a lot of really smart people. And the good news is self-awareness. You want to get smarter, hang out with people that are smarter. So you want to be better at golf, hang out with good golfers. It's as simple as that. It's not really top secret at all. And this episode that we're about to drop on Friday, Mark Malberg, Digital Metrology, you get a little taste of with the episode that's up right now. It was like kind of a co-interview with Brad Lagman. You're going to like it. Like, whoa, intelligence. And what are we talking about? Microscopic surfaces at the microscopic level. Like, what are they? What is the shape of a surface? How smooth should it be? Should things be smooth or should they not be smooth? Why? And the answer in this circumstance is all, oil retention. Where's the oil go? And all of those things, very interesting. VP Racing Fuels. Freddie Terza was on last week. You should go back and listen to that. C12 started it all. And now they've got over 80 blends for different things, small engines, RC, all kinds of stuff at VP Racing Fuel. But lubricants and fuel additives are also where it's at. And you as a WFO supporter, next time you go in to get a fuel additive, you can get VP and feel like, man, I'm helping out WFO Radio. But in the meantime, go to their website, sign up for their newsletter. And FTI Performance Transmissions, FTIperformance.com, converters, that's torque converters, transmissions, Power Glide, or even the stuff that they're using in Pro Modified, Top Dragster, Top Sportsman, of course, .90. In many ways, they own the market. $1 Million Bracket Racing, you find them there as well. FTIperformance.com. Really appreciate these people who make it possible. And we've had people reach out, interested in being part of the WFO universe at some point during the season, which is amazing and humbling and appreciated. All right, guys, here's the deal. I'm watching Formula One on Sunday morning. And you don't have to like Formula One to understand what I'm about to say. I love drag racing the most. And I want to elevate our sport. I want to grow it. I want more people to watch it. I want people to be interested in it. That's why I'm doing this show. Because I really felt like when I had spent time on NASCAR radio, which got a couple of references last week, that NASCAR has a fan base that's big enough that they could have their own radio channel on Sirius XM and constant programming. And that's why I started WFO, and we were like the first. Drag racing for drag racers. And now there's a whole bunch, and it's great. That was my goal many, many times, to inspire others. And now they are, and they're doing it. Well, here's another thing that I've noticed that I want to bring to our sport. Formula One, Ferrari on the pole. Ferrari goes out there. Charles Leclerc is leading the race by 12 seconds. And there's no other way to say it. I mean, I could say it with profanity, and I would prefer to say it with profanity right now, but I'm not going to. But they totally blew it. Epic fail. Choke job. Disgusting. Anger. Anxiety. Feeling of failure. Feeling of being let down. For Ferrari. Why did I feel this feeling of anxiety, of sadness? It put me in a negative mood. It put me in a dark place. Okay? Why? Because I care. Because I've chosen to take on the Ferrari team as part of my character, being, identity, right? Just like I have with the New York Yankees, just like so many have with so many other sports teams. There are people who watch a sport, and when the team that they're rooting for loses, they go, and they click it off, and they go about their business, and they're unaffected. They're unaffected. It would have been great if they won, but they didn't win. Sometimes you lose, and you go away, which is fine. But the religious-like fervor that surrounds the New York Yankees, the Boston Celtics, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Ferrari, Formula One, that, whatever that is, that seems to only come with teams, logos, entities that are bigger than one person, right? Ferrari. Yeah, that's Enzo Ferrari, but it's Ferrari. It's his whole image. The New York Yankees, it's some big image, some big thing. The Boston Red Sox, big image, right? People attach themselves to it. They make it part of their personal identity. Don't worry, I'm getting somewhere with it. They make it part of their personal identity. And so when Ferrari messes up royally, blows it, chokes and fails, I take it personally. What? I'm angry at them. What? I'm angry at them for letting me down, for failing me. I cared about you, and I care about what you're doing, and you're failing me. As a fan, you're failing me. I care. And so, I was very upset for a while, and then I shook it off by, eventually I will shake it off. The failure. Does anybody think about drag racing like that? Does anybody care about any drag racing team like that? That isn't a friend or family member? Like, you're a fan of Ron Capps. I like Napa Ron Capps. When Ron Capps goes out there and loses, do you feel bad? Do you carry it with you? When John Force smokes the tires in the semifinals, do the Force fans feel bummed out? Man, we wanted that. We wanted that win. I don't know. Some of them do, but not like these other sports. And that's why I'm bringing this up. Don Schumacher racing, John Force racing, Connie Coletta, Ron Capps, Antron Brown. It makes everything so small as to, it's just a person. Do you like that person or do you not like that person? That person is a nice person, so I like that person. And I hope they win, but they didn't win. Okay. You're not going to attach your fandom to a person. Rick Hendrick Motorsports, it's all about maybe it's time for people to start like changing the experience a little bit. These people who are creating teams, look at Chevy and Dodge and Ford. People certainly attach their identity to those things. They become fans. I'm a Dodge fan. That's it. Will not get in a Chevrolet. I will not get in a Ford. I will not root for anything else. This is part of my core, my being, my identity. We have it. But none of our teams, all of our teams are individual based. They're based around a personal character, not a larger identity. And I don't know. I think we're kind of missing the ball there a little bit. I think we're kind of maybe it's better, a more evolved thing that when your favorite driver just loses, you pick another driver and move on with them and are excited. But I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know too many people that carry the pain and anguish of a defeat with them for the rest of the afternoon, unless you're on the team or directly connected to the checkbook. I wonder. And what say you? I think that's an interesting discussion because we got to get to a point where people care about it even more. When Jimmy Butler took the final shot against the Celtics and missed, pushing it up the court, has got a chance to tie, 11 seconds left, is feeling it. That comeback from down 11 with 3 minutes to go, pulls up to take the lead, throws a 3-ball, clank, misses, game over, we lose. But you can't be mad because you want to encourage that kind of attack. Just sometimes you lose, but you feel it. You feel it. when your favorite driver in the NHRA goes out there and loses? Do you feel it? Does it bother you? You hurt? That's fandom. Fandom as in fanatic, as in a fan, as a fanatic. Maybe we don't have fans in drag racing. Maybe we've got enthusiasts. Maybe we've got interested parties. I don't know. So I'm putting this out there for you to think about and digest, and we can talk about it tomorrow. Also want to remind you guys, we had a great show last Thursday. Maybe you didn't see it. It's in the archive. It's in the website. It's in the app. Dave McClellan remembered by his coworkers and colleagues from Diamond P Sports. Tom Gee, TV professional for 40 years. George Castello, who still works out there in the truck to this day. And Cameron Evans, son of Steve Evans, all joined us to talk about stories about Big Mac and Steve Evans and behind the scenes at Diamond P Sports. I was proud of the work. I felt like we shared some stories that people didn't hear. Insiders, the people who were creating the stories that you saw and you watched, people who made that artwork, telling the stories about making the artwork behind the scenes, something you really don't get anywhere else. So I would hope you would listen. All right, let's see what people have to say. Let me get in position here to see what everybody's comments are, and then we'll get on out of here. Now, who's going to be on the show tomorrow? This is the beauty of WFO. I don't know. I got some ideas, though. Let's see. You were killing it Sunday. I don't know what you mean. Here's Brace predictions. Yeah, put your predictions in the comment section. Thank you, guys. Blake, Erica, John Force, Brittany Force. Boy, if that were to happen, we the season of dominance storyline would kick into the next gear. Brittany Force, John Force, Erica Enders. That's 2 for that exact same thing. Jim, so glad we're getting back to racing this weekend. Seems like it's been forever. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, Jim. Okay? Been 2 weeks. You were killing it Sunday. I just don't know what you mean. Joe, are you going to have Brian Loans on the show? No, I'm not, Blake. I'm sorry. I failed you. Yeah, you never know. I'll reach out to Brian. We'll see. Blake, I got to keep you guessing, man. You can't just order guests on WFO. You can't. But maybe you can. That's the thing. I take it all into consideration, and we see how it works out, and you never know. Brittany, I feel that way. I think it's a different feeling when you race as well. I agree. Thank you, Britt. When you race, you know the heartbreak. You watch these guys tear down. It hurts them. They're on the team. But there needs to be that connection with the fans. When you're like, I'm very angry at Ferrari right now, guys. Like, you maybe don't understand. I'm angry at them. They failed me. This was joy I was supposed to experience. And they blew it with incompetence. Now, in drag racing, we're not that harsh against our people because it's so difficult. But at the same time, that's why they're worth billions and billions of dollars. So drag racing, you screw up, you're done. F1, you drive like crap, you can still be out there for the whole race. Yeah, I don't really know what that analogy is, Jeff. I don't know. I think you're trying to diminish Formula One. You can't. You can't. Like, just to make a lap. Just to make one lap is like a miracle. Just like our cars to go down the racetrack. For nitro cars, Dickie Venables told me one time, just for the cars to go down the track at all is a miracle. It's like amazing that it even happened to go down the track at all, let alone put them together. Same true for a Formula One car. When Ford backed away from Pro Stock, I was pissed. I'm still not interested in Pro Stock because of it. There you go, Bill. That's because of your loyalty to Ford. You were connected. You cared. That's what we need. And they pissed you off, and now you're gone. I want Dallas and Erica to win, but I'm a big fan of all Pro Stock racers. Yeah, Jeff. How do you want Dallas and Erica to win, though? That's, I want the Red Sox and the Yankees to win. Not quite, because Dallas is, unassuming character and hasn't really gotten to a vicious rivalry with anyone yet. It'll happen. Drivers don't get fan support like, say, Max Verstappen crashes out. Everyone goes nuts. If Justin Ashley loses, they just say, and next race. That's what I'm saying. I use Ron Capps as an example because I think his fans are the most closest to Force, of course, is a legend, but I don't want to pick Force. Verstappen fans, they all dress the same. They all wear the gear. They all sing songs together. It's a soccer-like fervor for Verstappen because of where he's from and where they're from. And they have a connection. He represents them. Their identity is demonstrated through him. He's a world champion, so they're a world champion. And he's one of the most well-known athletes on the earth as a race car driver. Maybe it's because our fans think that they can be Ron Capps and Justin Ashley, which is what we want them to do. We want them to think that they can do it, but they can't. They could, maybe. It's attainable. You're not going to be Max Verstappen. That's for sure. Last Thursday's show was great. Excellent work. Thank you, Jim. Lauren says, Camry Caruso, John Force, Austin Prock. Oh, man, the Austin Prock win. We would kick Silver Stallions into next gear. It hurts my heart when Justin Ashley smokes the tires in E1. Makes me want to go up to Mike Green and say, WTF. That's what fandom is about. Now, don't do it, but that's what fandom is about. If I could walk up to the guys from Ferrari, the guy who said, pit, no, what? Don't pit. No. If I could find that guy right now, I'd give him a piece of my mind. And no, I can't spare it. Final comment, Joe. Will Pro Stock run at every event next year? No. They will never run at every event ever again until the schedule is 18 races. This is a part-time schedule. We did this a few years ago. And this is why you get full fields, because they don't run 22 races. Killing it Sunday was a reply to Garrison. He was killing it on Super Comp on Sunday. Oh, way to go. Let me go down here and have a quick study of Mr. Garrison's day. Well, he runnered up to Lee Ream. He got around Tom Stalba Jr., got around Mike Robalato, got around Ken Moses, got around Phil Langford, and Rich Dorr. That's a pretty tough day there, brother. What was the reaction times? 001, 001, 009, 005. What? That's not right. I'm reading the wrong thing. That was the margin of victory. That's above 890. But, he had it dialed in is the point. 90 with a 1, 90 with a 1, 90 with a 9, 90 with a 5, 90 with an 8. What? Way to go, Garrison. And then it picked up a bunch in the final. It goes to 88.0. I had 23 light. I've been 30s all day. Way to go, Garrison. There you go. I'm up to speed. Thank God for Drag Race Central. Monica, when AJ's team doesn't win, I don't want him, want to be around him. He gets very frustrated. And that's balancing. You got to balance how tough to take it. Some people take it too far. But some people can't control how much it hurts them because they care that much. And that's what I'm wondering. NASCAR drivers are like goldfish that just go round and round. Nicholas says that. Yeah, I would never diminish anyone's sport into that minimalistic thing. These goldfish are swimming around at 200 miles an hour, and their physical health is in jeopardy. And it's 130 degrees inside the fish bowl, so it's definitely boiling water they're swimming through. And any contact can ruin it for them, and they're racing their fans. So they're working on them. Thoughts on Hamilton retiring? Didn't see that news just yet. I can find that out. Remember, yesterday was Memorial Day. I'm just connecting back in. It's not on the front page of Planet F1. So I'm guessing that it's non-story that you're just throwing at me as a goof. Thank you, Joe, says Blake. And part of that is on the driver's personalities. Need to show you can't get someone to root for. Thanks, my sponsor. Maybe so. I think you need to be creating pageantry at all times. Look at the team. Look at everyone who has done it. Everyone that has created something that is bigger than one person. You have to be trying to do that. You have to be trying to do that. I think the fan and the race are becoming emotionally attached with the broadcasters now. So, you're offloading the responsibility on us. I see. No, I get it. Well, that's all of it. The songs and the horns and the sounds, Capco, they are creating something They are trying to create something. We haven't heard the horn in a long time. Fans of Capco, right? Are they, they're connected to that team. Something a little bit bigger than themselves. They made something. Not dissing F1, just stating that you can be mediocre and still be on the track for a whole race. Drag racing is single elimination, whether you are good or lucky or make one mistake. Yeah, but nobody is mediocre there. That's the thing. The worst team in Formula One, no one is mediocre. There's no mediocre. At a drag race, somebody is at their first race, and maybe they're good or maybe they're great or maybe they're not. Nobody gets to be in Formula One being mediocre. Everybody is the best of the best, just like Top Gun. Norwalk divisional race this weekend. Weather looks perfect. Should be a good show, and Pro Mods will be there too. Way to go, Brian. Thank you very much. Get that track all ready to go. We'll be there in a couple weeks. Chris Garrettson is the slow-mo Super Comp Pro. He is. And the WFO decal was on the nose of the car. Way to go, Garrettson. You got to send pics, though, man. Post them. No emotionally attached to racers and cars. I am definitely attached to all of them, though. Like, I'm not a good example because I am a non-partial media personality. So I'm going to find something positive in everybody's win and celebrate that. Like, I get to celebrate a victory every race. We celebrate with the winners, whoever they are. And it's been great for WFO because you win your way on the show. People love coming on the show. They associate it with winning. So this is the positive. People got to care. They've got to care. One guy versus the other guy in a fight. Do you care? I don't know. Going out of your way to create something bigger than you, than one person, than one name who's going to be, gone. Like, will the race team continue beyond the life of one person? In our sport, we haven't just now getting there for the successful teams. You think about Ferrari, you think about McLaren, you think about Mercedes. These are things that will extend well beyond the life of the people that are involved. And the fans will follow along, regardless of who the people and the personalities are. And when the new people come in, they'll be held to a high standard. Is that someplace that our sport is going? Or will it always be about a person? Maybe it will. Coletta Motorsports. What do they stand for? What are they? Well, they're the longest running legacy teams in drag racing. Been there since Jump. That's cool. I don't know. I think we should be promoting more of that. We should be trying a little more of that. That's the point of this conversation, guys. All right. Tomorrow we'll be on 12 noon Eastern time. That's all I got. It might just be us. All right, folks. Thank you very much. Go see Top Gun. It was great. It'll make you feel great. The technology, everything associated. Really great stuff. In the meantime, hit the archive. Download the app. Appreciate you all. WFO.